The pilot probably never imagined that the uneven terrain of a golf course would turn out to be the surprisingly effective spot for an emergency landing. It looks like a freefall spiral out of control, but it's actually just a controlled spin training session on a Cessna 150, all seen from the outside. A pretty rough day for this DHL Airbus A300 since its tail struck the runway after an unstable landing. What you're seeing here is actually a real ejection seat test carried out by the U.S. Air Force. This system launches the pilot to safety during emergencies using rocket power, then gently brought back down by parachute, realistically simulating what would occur in an actual flight in just a few seconds. It looked like a perfect touchdown until a sudden gust of wind ruined everything, and the moment ended right there. If you spotted more than one aircraft up there, then your eyes are seriously sharp. Can you guess how many aircraft and how they pulled off this incredible formation? A flight carrying pilgrims to Kedarnath ran into trouble, but luckily it wasn't a cliff, so everyone made it out safe and sound. Turbulence like you've never seen on China Eastern Airlines flight MU-721 when an engine suddenly failed at high altitude. Luckily, the plane landed safely. The Mi-26 helicopter probably didn't see this coming, flying too close, and it knocked over a lamppost that crashed right into the aircraft. Dodging power lines like a pro, a move only skilled pilots can pull off smoothly. Would you believe it if I didn't tell you the culprits behind that shattered windshield were birds? On August 22, 2025, a new record soared into the skies over Skydive Chicago. After 5 days of battling tough weather, 174 skydivers from around the world pulled off a jaw-dropping vertical formation, setting a brand new world record after 10 years. Before even reaching 75 feet, the experimental twin-engine air camera plummeted just seconds after takeoff. Leaving the cockpit while the helicopter was still spinning turned things absolutely chaotic. It's truly amazing that it didn't get worse, all thanks to the pilot's courage. You're not seeing things. Those sparks are actually flares set up to add extra dazzle to this sunset show. A loss of control incident during landing luckily only damaged the frame of the Enstrom 280FX helicopter. The pilot walked away completely unharmed. The thrust reverser kicks in the moment the aircraft touches down, flipping the engine's exhaust flow forward so the plane can slow down faster. This isn't a game or a simulation. As unbelievable as it looks, this display of aerial skill and acrobatics is 100% real. Every sharp turn that the helicopter makes is yet another reminder: being a firefighter is truly a dangerous job. Ready to take off in this Cessna yet? Well, unfortunately, the Cessna itself is not quite ready for takeoff. When you think you're the coolest guy in the parking lot, and then this guy shows up. Touching down isn't the end of the story, because just 1 second of distraction and strong crosswinds can push the plane right off the runway. That split-second moment surely had every passenger holding their breath. Float planes are built to take off and land on water, but when no water runway is available, pilots use creative solutions like this trailer-assisted launch. A high-stakes chase on the Bay of Cadiz as the Spanish tax agency pursues a drug-laden speedboat. With water spray hammering the rotor and waves disrupting lift, every second is a gamble. One wrong move and the engine could fail at any moment. The MIL Mi-26 was attempting an emergency landing after detecting an engine issue. But, ironically, the thing that turned this giant into a pile of scrap wasn't the failing engine at all. It was the pilot's rushed, misjudged touchdown. They said the plane was meticulously maintained. Well, except for these bolts. A dangerous crosswind landing, yet somehow it ends up looking like a bonus scene straight out of Tokyo Drift. Is this a risky takeoff or a clever move to escape danger quickly and safely? Either way, it's quite the performance. What do you think of it? Let's welcome the moment when the rebuilt engine of this MiG-15 roars again after more than 20 years. It seems the trainee pilot's inexperience caused the plane to skid off the runway. And the unbelievable part, he came out completely unscathed. It's not every day you get to witness top-notch teamwork between a helicopter and linemen installing high-voltage lines way up in the sky. What do you think based on this outcome? Was the MD-600's running landing a test success or a flop? Don't play with fire? Sure, but true pros know how to combine fireworks with upside-down flips to give you this jaw-dropping aerial show.
Five, four, three, two, one.
The Royal Australian Air Force C-17 is flying low over downtown Brisbane while getting ready for the Riverfire 2021 Fireworks Festival. After circling to figure out how to fix its nose gear issue, Silver Dragon had no choice but to land on its nose. Big thanks to the crew who managed to keep the barrier safe against the 8-level wind blast from the 2,400-watt helicopter. Otherwise, the outcome could have been as disastrous as this torn tarp. Looks like a mid-air collision countdown, but no, he's actually flying with pinpoint precision. Nicknamed Fat Albert, the legendary C-130 of the Blue Angels once soared into the sky using JATO rockets, becoming an irreplaceable icon of U.S. Navy aviation. Instead of the rotor blades, the performance makes it look like the whole plane itself is spinning around the rotor axis. Not every driver can calculate a safe distance perfectly, which is why a traffic controller is absolutely essential in situations like this. When sudden gusts tilt the wings close to the ground, that's when pilots put all their skill and courage to work, guiding these massive metal birds safely back to Earth. On a single flight, this plane managed to land multiple times. Can you guess how many bounces it pulled off? Take a close look at this wobble. Did something go wrong, or is he showing off some mad skills? A rescue mission suddenly turned dangerous when the helicopter lost visibility due to a brownout and ended up on the parking lot of Maua University. Sneaking behind the scenes to see how helicopters turn into flying cameras. Can you imagine how stunning the shots that camera is capturing are? When you accidentally fill the plane's fuel tank with alcohol instead of gasoline.
What did you do? What do you have to say for yourself, Mr. Pilot?
He stole my airplane!
Why did you get out of the airplane?
He doesn't know how to fly that thing!
Can you hear us? Did you leave a headset in there?
No, I didn't. He's gonna have to figure it out. That poor thing. He's probably so scared.
Looks like the pilot forgot something before starting up. No co-pilot? No worries. The autopilot's got the captain's back on solo flights. Perfect for short, rough runways in remote areas and widely used in both military and civilian transport. Can you guess which aircraft we're talking about? A collision happened when the rotor of a Bell 407 helicopter hit the hangar door. But fortunately, the pilot emerged mostly unscathed with only minor scratches. After more than a century, the Tulin A, restored by Michael Carlson, takes to the skies once again. It recreates the historic 1909 flight when Louis Blériot first conquered the skies over the English Channel. Can you spot the special Easter egg in this moment? No matter how skilled a pilot is, they should still keep the thrill rides in check. These hard-stopping maneuvers can really make viewers hold their breath. Or even like this, sure, you can't deny how captivating it is. The Lufthansa Airbus A380 looks like it's carrying a cloud, but it's actually just wing condensation forming during an early morning landing. The FAA just caught you taking that plane like an ATV without a proper license. An Air China flight had to make an emergency landing after a luggage fire caused by a lithium battery, though the fire was controlled in time. A similar cause as the previous incident. This shows that following safety rules for carrying hazardous items on board is way more important than you might think. When the sky turns into a stage for that metal bird dancing in midair. After sliding off the runway and spinning 180 degrees, the DHL Boeing 757-200 cargo plane broke into two pieces. If your flight doesn't touch down as smoothly as you'd hope, just remember, with those fierce winds, your pilots are already giving it everything they've got. You might think those sparks are a sign of an accident, but don't worry, look closely at the tail. Those sparks are simply arresting the hook, scraping the runway. The aircraft is completely safe. It may look like just a gentle touch, but the tap between the two aircraft left a mark that's anything but gentle. A silly pilot mistake, or just a staged reminder about the importance of wheel chocks. The trainee pilot, instead of giving the door sensor a gentle shake to fix the issue, accidentally managed to pop the entire door open mid-air. Welcome to the Blue Angels performance at Pensacola Beach, freshly back from Terre Haute, India, viewed from a prime spot right beneath their flight path. Who would dare continue a flight after spotting flames coming from the engine? Well, on this flight, nobody. They returned for an emergency landing. What's this helicopter doing with that massive saw? It's trimming trees near high-voltage power lines. Each pilot isn't just flying the helicopter, they're basically wielding a giant flying saw. What caused the helicopter to spin wildly out of control? But it seemed the pilot was doing their best to bring it down as smoothly as possible. You really need to stay alert when flying a microlight trike at 1,500 and 2,000 feet because that's also prime altitude for general aviation aircraft. In the rush to transport a heart for transplant and save a life, the helicopter ended up hitting a light pole. A high-speed showdown between a retro jet plane and a jet truck, both barreling at over 500 kilometers per hour, separated by just a few meters. Strong gusts caused the tail to scrape the ground, but no challenge for this military pilot. He quickly regained control and landed safely. Turns out this is how they got a hot air balloon off the ground. Do you have any memorable experiences like this one? While flying to support areas hit by Hurricane Grace, a Mexican Navy helicopter experienced a technical issue and had to make an emergency landing in Hidalgo. Solo Turk pulls off an ultra-low landing after a practice session for the Waddington Air Show 2014. Wasting a perfectly good Robinson R-44 just because of a pilot's misjudgment or forgetting their landing on the ground with all those signposts around. Did this aerial fireworks display leave you totally dazzled? A crew member's mistake while removing the net on the helicopter deck led to a scary situation, but luckily, no one was hurt. The Red Arrows, another aerobatic team from the Royal Air Force. Do you remember the other teams mentioned earlier in this video? A smart move by the pilot when the nose gear wouldn't lock. Before risking a belly landing, he circled for half an hour to burn off fuel and waited for the fire crew to be on standby. This airport isn't for the faint-hearted pilots. F-16 engine test at full afterburner, consuming a whopping 11 liters of fuel every single second. A heart-stopping landing on Heligoland Island, famous for its runway of just a few hundred meters. The plane flew so close it almost brushed sunbathers before skimming the fence. Hurricane Melissa is recorded as the strongest storm ever to make direct landfall in Jamaica. And here's the calm in the chaos, the eye of Hurricane Melissa as seen from the plane. A test pilot and engineer flew the upgraded single-seat agricultural plane to trial its high-performance takeoff and landing capabilities on the hard clay runway at Schoonover. Don't let that freedom fool you. Every move is performed with safety harnesses and strict safety procedures. The coordination, from the speed to the angle between the pilot and the performer, is breathtakingly perfect.
I have no idea how on earth you end up getting that suit strapped to the wing of a post-war agricultural aircraft, but it's one thing.
The EasyJet Airbus A320 from Bordeaux reported a wind shear exceeding limits and executed an escape maneuver by banking right over the ramp. Check out this close-up cockpit view of the Thunderbird's precision formation flying, where fighter jets are just inches apart at 400 miles per hour. The pilot ejected safely from the MiG-23 fighter jet just seconds before it crashed at the Michigan Air Show.
Whoa! Oh, he's parachuting! Look at the guy's parachuting!
Oh, because it's crashing.
Look, that's a real person.
Yeah, because it's crashing.
It's not crashing. They did that on purpose.
The sky welcomes your flight with a bolt of lightning streaking across. Don't worry too much. On average, every active airplane gets struck just once a year. If the AS-350 is agile for light tasks like transporting bales of hay, the Mi-26 plays in a whole different league. With a payload of up to 40,000 pounds, it can conquer places without any runway. The owner of that tarp would be surprised to find out that the one behind its destruction was actually a helicopter. A Fuga Zephyr training aircraft nearly had to belly land because the landing gear didn't deploy in time. By the time it reached the final approach, it hadn't gained enough safe altitude to land, So the plane had to take off again. In this situation, the fire crew's speed could mean the difference between damaging just a truck or adding a plane to the list. The Cessna L-19 Bird Dog opted for a soft grassy patch instead of a rigid runway. Humanity's dream doesn't stop at the sky, it reaches for the vastness of space. Yet sometimes, the effort to conquer that dream lasts just 14 seconds. Respect to the pilot, since taking off in these weather conditions requires nerves of steel and a great deal of experience. Was it really worth risking life and limb, like having 2 lives, to chase some animals? In this chase, the helicopter nearly crashed into the ground. How would you rate this turbulent landing? Fortunately, the pilot was unharmed, and the glider only suffered minor damage thanks to the cushioning effect of the trees. In situations that demand skill and precision down to the tiniest inch, even the trickiest maneuvers and high-speed flying suddenly become much easier for the most skilled pilots, of course. When a crosswind caught this C-123 Thunder Pig, the pilots skillfully maintained balance and used their expertise to bring it safely back down. When a plane's tire blew out in Nepal, the passengers suddenly became an unofficial rescue team, helping the pilot push the plane to the side. Now that's a flight no one will ever forget in the most unexpected way. Instead of wasting time returning to the ground to refuel, fighter jets do it mid-air. It's not exactly safe and takes serious skill, but it boosts the efficiency of these special pilots. Imagine thinking you've been rescued, only to end up spinning around like a Beyblade. Proof that the wind was strong enough to turn you into a live video filter. Even though the pilot tried to save the F-35B fighter, in the end, he had to make the smarter, safer choice, ejecting from the plane. On a rainy day, this helicopter landed on an aircraft carrier deck and accidentally created a spectacular water vortex. Even the lightest empty container weighing between 8,160 and 8,820 pounds doesn't stand a chance against the jet blast of a Boeing 777-300ER. How many jets just flew by? Count carefully and drop your answer in the comments below. The Airbus A350 pilot was bold enough to fly straight through a fire, but just as impressive, the engines were powerful enough to handle all that smoke. Not just one, but 3 tornadoes. Whether near or far, flying in extreme weather always comes with serious risks. After a thrilling scene in Mission Impossible comes a behind-the-scenes chase that's just as intense and dangerous. The impact of a bird strike on a plane depends a lot on where it hits. Luckily, this one happened while the plane was landing. Nothing closes the gap between a seaplane and a regular plane quite like an amphibious sea star. If you want to see just how powerful a bird strike can be, take a look at the shattered nose of this Airbus A321XLR. A collision with power lines happened during a sea drill. As a result, the rescuer and the stunt performer had to swim back to shore on their own. Flying at 370 kilometers per hour, the extra 330 LX suddenly opened its canopy, leaving the pilot struggling against the wind pressure, but still managing to land the aircraft safely. A pretty smelly incident, and definitely not the kind of mess any airport staff wants to deal with. Also on the runway, but sadly, 3 little deer weren't quick enough to escape and didn't make it. If planes had feelings, that one would have been holding its breath in pure terror, just moments away from being sent off for recycling. Take a moment to enjoy this breathtaking view, because you can't imagine what NOAA's hurricane hunters went through to fly straight into the eye of Hurricane Erin. And now, they face the dangerous journey all over again to make it back out. Take propeller bearing maintenance seriously. Regular checks are key to keeping yourself and everyone around you safe. Crowds didn't just gather to watch the clouds split open, they came to witness the AN-225, the world's largest aircraft, capable of burning up to 2 tons of fuel every hour in flight. The Airlander 10 touched down a little hard at Cardington Shelter, earning its place as the softest crash in aviation history.
Surely you'd be worried that you're just going to smash that into the ground. Oh my god!
Don't worry, this plane isn't in the wrong lane. It's just making an emergency landing because of engine trouble. Hey, mind if I hitch a ride? Sure, your fare is $10. From a military pilot's cockpit view, it's easy to see why their training has to be so intense. The reporter said military pilots aren't allowed to make mistakes, and she was absolutely right about that.
Профессионального обращения с техникой, умение за считанные секунды принимать верх.
The crash didn't cause serious damage, but it was a costly lesson for the pilots in the race. This helicopter hovers so perfectly over the ship's deck, you'd hardly notice the vessel is still moving. This landing might be a little chilly, but it's a lot safer than crashing into the mountain. Struggling to open a water bottle? Don't worry, let the pilots handle it for you. This landing was pretty rough, but at least it worked and no one got hurt. At Kabul airport, hundreds of desperate people ran after a U.S. Air Force C-17 transport plane in a desperate attempt to escape Afghanistan. Besides carrying passengers and cargo, the Boeing 747 once doubled as a rideshare service for the Space Shuttle Endeavour. Flips and spins might look like a stunning air show for the crowd, but now step into the pilot's seat to really feel it. Crazy low-altitude flying by the Ukrainian Air Force in a Su-24. Even facing 200-mile-per-hour winds from a V-22 Osprey, the coordinator held their ground, making sure the team could complete the training safely. Get ready to witness the spectacular return of the SpaceX Booster 12 from space. Even more amazing, it does this all on its own with no one at the controls. The rocky, uneven terrain took out a helicopter's wheels when it flew too low. Planes can be delayed for many reasons, but because a bear got loose in the cargo hold, that's definitely a rare one.
We certainly do ourselves. The brave men and women of your Royal Australian Air Force have a real treat. What do you say, Gold Coast? Look at the wings on this angel. Just incredible.
No matter how rushed you are, remember, this is real life, not a live-action movie. Almost at the end of the runway, yet the Twin Otters still ended up with a failed landing. No need to go to space. You can experience zero gravity right inside a small plane like this. The jet performance of the Su-27 is absolutely thrilling. But don't forget to keep a safe distance. A German plane collided with an Israeli one on the ground at Ben Gurion Airport, causing significant damage, but thankfully, no one was injured.
Он не может взлететь. Там кто-то тяжелый, видимо, завтрак покушал. Из-за этого вертолет не может подняться.
Why always keep a safe distance from helicopters? Because you never know when they might run into trouble and end up heading straight for you. If you're not high enough, don't try to climb over anything, not even a bush like in this Antonov AN-2 takeoff failure. If you've got the guts, you could try standing right under the flight path of a plane blasting by at 200 miles per hour. China Eastern Airlines Flight 586 marked the first time a civilian airliner had to make an emergency landing with 137 passengers on board. And luckily, fortune smiled. Everyone made it out safe. It's hard not to suspect that the Airbus A320-216 pilot might be a bit new to the job, judging by that awkward, hesitant handling. A controlled ground test for engine irregularities at a training facility. When the pilot's ready to land but the helicopter clearly isn't, the only option is to force those wheels to do their job. Flames erupted after a road collision, threatening the forest on both sides. With fire trucks an hour away, only a plane could step in to save the situation. A bizarre escape happened when a student was ejected from an F-15, even though the plane was still on the ground and showed no signs of damage.
These pilots. Oh, no. Has he got it? He's going to go around. Is he going to go around? Oh my God, look at it.
This Airbus A320 was forced into an emergency landing after its nose gear got stuck, with smoke and even flames covering 95% of the runway. But in the end, it still pulled off a perfect landing. After an actual engine fire, those planes found a new purpose as hands-on training tools for firefighting. Limits are meant to be broken. If you're ready for the next crazy moment being captured, hit that subscribe button for Wow Tech. And don't forget to give this video a like and drop a comment to give us the motivation to bring you even more awesome videos.